So, hello and welcome to another lesson in our study of scientific computing. So, today you'll be learning how to perform arithmetic operations in Bash. So, we first learn how to add, subtract, multiply, and divide integers, and we extend it to floating numbers. That's when you have decimals. Okay, so quickly let me go to my terminal. Okay, and let me clear. Okay, so let's come to integers. Okay, so adding integers, subtracting integers, multiplying integers, and dividing them. Okay, so you can see that I start my bash script with a she bank. That's what you can see on top here, and this line is a comment. That's why it begins with a hash. When you come to this line, it's just an assignment. Okay, so A is 10 and B is 20. So A is 10 and B is 2. So these are assignments. When you come here, I am performing some calculations here, right? And storing them in a variable called sum. That's the reason why you can see them enclosing double parentheses. So I open double parentheses and I close them with double parentheses. And here I want to add A and B, but since A and B are variables, you can see they are variables here. That's why I bring the dollar sign. So $sign A plus $sign B. Then I'm putting the result into a variable called sum. Okay, so the same thing here, difference. So that means when you want to add two integers in bash, we use plus. If you want to subtract, we use minus. You can see the minus here. So it's the same thing here. We want to multiply, so we use the star. So when you multiply, then you put the answer into a variable called product, and here too we are dividing. Okay, so that's what those lines do. So after that, then print to the screen the sum is, then you see since the sum is a variable, we bring dollar sign, then sum, then the difference, dollar sign difference, then the product is dollar sign product, then the ratio is dollar sign division. So you can see this is how we do simple arithmetic operations in bash, okay, using integers. And I hope you understand all the line of code. So if I should run this in my terminal, okay, so you see that it will come. The sum is 12 because A was 10, B is 2. So 10 plus 12, 2 is what? 12. The difference is 8, that is 10 minus 2. The product is 20, that is 10 times 2. And the ratio is 5, that is 10 divided by 2. I hope you can see that. Okay, so that's how you perform simple arithmetic operations in bash, okay, when you have integers. So let me come here. So let me try changing one of these numbers to a float. So maybe let's say 10.1.5. Okay, so I'm changing the 8 to 1.5. So let me save this and run it in a terminal. To realize that they'll give me a lot of error. So that means when you have floating numbers, decimals, the way you go about it is different from when you have integers, right? And let's talk about that one too. So how do we do this when we have decimals, that's floating numbers? So that's the code we use here. So bash is a low level language, and bash itself does not understand floating numbers. So whenever you have floating numbers like decimals and you want to use them, what we do is that we have to pipe them. Okay, so we use a command called BC, and BC stands for basic calculator, and it's a command in bash that is used to provide the functionality of a scientific calculator within a bash script. Okay, so you could see that now you're coming to work when we have floats. So when you have floating numbers, how do you add? How do you subtract? How do you divide? How do you multiply? And you know, one thing I should know is that floating numbers itself, they fall under raw numbers, right? And you know, integers, they are contained in what? Raw numbers. So that means if you know this one, it will even work for when you have integers. So knowing this is the best one. Okay, I hope you understand. Okay, so you know, the first line of code is the shebang. The second line is the comment, and here we are just taking some input from the user. So enter the first number, then the read A will take the input from the user and put it into a variable called A. Then that's the same explanation for this one. So enter second number, then the read B will take the input from the person and store it into a variable called B. Okay, so now when you want to add, we use this thing here. Okay, so you have to do exactly as it is here. Okay, so we use echo, then $A plus $B, then we pipe it, then we use a BC minus L. So this is a BC command, which will which is the command which will provide the functionality of a scientific calculator in bash. Okay, so it is when you bring these things, that is when it is going to work. So when you want to add, plus is just plus. You see, when you want to subtract, division is just minus. But when you want to multiply, you have to bring a backward slash, okay, before you bring the star, that's the times. The same way if you want to divide. Okay, so you can look at this code carefully. So if you should run this, you'll see the sum of the two numbers is, and the difference is in the range. So let's just run this code. Right, so when I run this code, it will tell me to enter first number. Then let's say my first number is 22.5. My second number is 11.2. So you see, it will tell me the sum of the two numbers is 33.7. The difference is 11.3. The product is 252.00, and the ratio is 2.0089285. You get that one. Okay, so let's run it again. This time around, let's take integers as inputs. So 90 and 2. It worked, right? So the most important thing is for you to learn the second one, because with that one, if you know it, you can use it throughout. Okay, so that's it. So in our next video, we will learn how to write a program in bash to calculate the area of some plane figures like a rectangle, a circle, a triangle, and what have you. So thank you very much, and see you in the next video.